not realize here with no only friends in this beautiful life? Yeah, I second it. I got
Hello everyone, I'm Coach P. I'm the director of volleyball. This is EmpowHer, and one of the reasons why I accepted the position from Tim Duncan was because of EmpowHer. It fell right in line with what I believe in the code for my team of being your sister's keeper. And I always tell them the greatest lie that's ever been told to women is that their power is external instead of internal. Us as women need to know that we have everything within us and we don't need the external validation, especially in this world when we hear it from men. So I love this because it also shows women, empowering women and building community, because it takes a village in order to grow and build and succeed. So I just want to make sure that my young women know that, and then everyone in this athletic department understands that. So now I'm going to introduce a mentee. She is a part of the beach team and also just a really dope human being, and that's Renata.
Hi guys, my name is Renata Dykstra, and I'm a member of the beach volleyball team here at UNO. I'm originally from Canada, and I'm currently in my second semester of my junior year, majoring in biological sciences and minoring in earth and environmental sciences. After university, I hope to pursue a master's degree and possibly a PhD, though I'm still deciding whether that next chapter will be in the US or back home in Canada. My long-term goal is to work in marine research, specifically in conservation and restoration efforts centered on coral reefs, sharks, and whales around the world. The opportunity to join EmpowHer came to me over winter break. I didn't know much about the program at the time, but I had made it a personal goal to get more involved on campus this year, not just academically or athletically, but in ways that would help me grow personally and professionally. I was paired with Ms. Alvianne Brule, a sports agent and an active member in her church, who was a great mentor throughout the experience. EmpowHer really encouraged us to think intentionally about our futures. What we want, how we'll get there, and who we want to become, and everyone that can help us along the journey. Through the exercises and conversations, I realized that there isn't just one way to reach your goals. There are so many different paths that can lead to the same destination. Some are direct, others are winding, and some might take you to opportunities you never expected. It made me think more openly and creatively about my future and reminded me that progress doesn't have to look perfect. Coach P even inspired me to think globally. She suggested that if I ever decide to work overseas, I could explore opportunities to play beach volleyball or even rugby professionally while continuing my studies or marine work, and that my mentor may even be able to help me with that process. That idea opened a door that I hadn't even considered before. And not just from a career standpoint. EmpowHer helped me to look at myself as an athlete in this way too. We're often trained to think of athletic success in black and white terms, wins, stats, and performance. But this experience reminded me that our journey as athletes is also filled with different paths, setbacks, pivots, and growth. The same principles apply, being open to different opportunities and staying committed to growth and understanding that there is no one right way to evolve as a person or as a competitor. In our final week, we talked with Dan Crum, the CFO of the Kansas City Chiefs. Even though his career is completely different from mine, his advice on networking really stood out to me. He emphasized how important it is to be intentional with the relationships you build. Don't just connect with people when you need something. Instead, take the time to maintain genuine relationships and show interest in others. He also reminded us that your network isn't just about big names or titles. It's made up of mentors, peers, coaches, classmates, and anyone who can offer guidance or support along the way. That message really stuck with me, and it reminded me to value every connection that I make. And since meeting him, he has liked every single Instagram story and live related to beach volleyball that I've posted, so he's practicing exactly what he preaches. So my biggest takeaway from EmpowHer, and what I'll leave you with, is this. The journey to your dreams won't always be a straight line, but if you stay committed to your growth, stay open to the different paths that might lead you there, and recognize everyone who can help you along the way, you'll get where you're meant to go, in your career, your sport, and your life.
All right, so now next up, our next speaker is actually someone, when I first heard about her, I was like, oh my gosh, how can I be her friend? Because I think she's just an amazing human being. She is a sports agent, an entrepreneur, brand strategist, as well as a four-time published writer. And so without further ado, Albion.
Well, that was some big shoes to fill after that, so let me get to it. But thank you so much for this opportunity. I really don't take it lightly whenever I get the opportunity to talk to people or just to pour into others. It's very, very important to me. I was asked tonight to talk about why did I become a mentor. And so I hope that, you guys can grab something from my experience. But the main reason why I became a mentor was simply because I didn't have one. And so it was a struggle, especially, being a female entered into a male-dominated industry, because I am a sports agent. And when I first entered into this space, being a female sports agent was kind of frowned upon. It's totally different now. And so I kind of walked into the industry blind. I had to learn through trials and tribulations, prayer, grit, right? And so for me, my goal became for me to basically help someone else. And so I felt when I first started that if I had a mentor, if I had someone that kind of helped me with guidance, that a lot of mistakes that I made were avoidable, or that I could have avoided a lot of the mistakes that I did make. And so it became my business that any individual that wanted to be mentored or needed some type of advice, that I would make it my business to pour into them, because I wanted to be the very thing that I did not have and I did not see. And so there is a proverb that I like to refer to oftentimes, where it talks about where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counsel, there's safety. And so I do believe that when you have counsel, that there's safety there, because there's a wisdom that you can find in that space. And so I always tell people that mentorship is very, very important, because a lot of times you can learn from others' mistakes. And so if you can find a good mentor, you found really good substance. And so there's protection there as well, because of the wisdom that you get. I always tell people that ignorance is very, very expensive. If I can go back and tell you the mistakes that I made, a lot of them were financial, but sometimes it takes time, and that's the one thing that we cannot get back is time. And so if there is a way for you to avoid pitfalls through mentorship, it is my belief system that that's one way to avoid certain pitfalls, right? And so I always tell people that mentorship is also about accountability, having an accountability partner that you can lean on in those areas where you need some type of guidance. And so it also is about growth and helping you unlock those pieces that are inside of you. One time I was hoping that this man would mentor me, and so it was crazy because at the time I didn't understand, like, as much as I would call him and as much as I would try to get him to mentor me, because he was this huge sports agent at the time, he would just not pour into me the way that I saw him pour into others. And then I heard something or someone speaking, and they said that whenever someone mentors you, a lot of time they want to, or they tend to mentor to people that they see themselves in. And so for me, it kind of clicked, because I was like, well, maybe he's not mentoring me the way that I want to be mentored because he doesn't see himself in me. And so at that point, it became even more intentional for me to mentor other girls, young girls, so that they can see that I can see myself in you, or you can see yourself in me. And that whatever it is that I can accomplish, that you can do the same, if not further. So a lot of the mentees, and actually one of my mentees that I have, she's now a sports agent. When she first got to me, she was actually an intern. She had ambitions to become a sports agent. And so my thing to her was, you should get to where I am a lot faster, with less mistakes. And so that's the goal of whenever you are able to find someone that is willing to mentor into you. And so my thing to you guys, ladies that have the opportunity to actually get a mentor, because believe it or not, sometimes finding a mentor is very, very, very hard. And I'm speaking for experience. Like, it was very, very hard for me to find someone to pour into me. And so when you have programs like this, it's so important for me not to just be a part of it, but that you maximize the opportunity, because they're giving you individuals that can pour into you and, again, help you catapult your life to another level at a faster pace, especially if you take the wisdom that is, given to you. So a few tips that I would give you is, one, reach out. A lot of times when I talk to younger women, they feel that if you have a mentor, that it's the mentor's responsibility to do the initiation. But my advice to you is that it's the other way around. As mentors, we're very, very busy, but if we give you the green light to contact us and to have access to us, take advantage, call, text, be on them to get the wisdom that you need to help you move to the next level. The other thing is, I like to tell, is that a lot of times you'll hear people say the term is free game. Understand that when you're getting wisdom from individuals, it's never free game. It came with some type of cost to them, whether that was financial, whether that was time, whether that was heartache and pain, trials and tribulations. There's always a cost to that knowledge that you're getting. So don't take it for granted or treat it like it's common. Understand that what you're getting, again, it costs us in different facets. The other thing is, ask really good questions. Do the research and maximize that time. Don't just leave it on the mentor to pour into you. Figure out different questions, whether that's asking them how they got to where they are, or if that's, maybe even Googling great questions to ask, whatever that may be. But have something else that you can continue to draw from and pull from that mentorship while you have the opportunity. And the biggest thing is to apply what it is that you learn. It's one thing, and as mentors, sometimes the frustration is that, we don't want to waste our time. Time is very, very valuable. So if we take the time to say that, hey, I mentor you, and not to say that sometimes, what someone may give you may not necessarily be applicable, and we understand that. I always tell my students or individuals that I am mentoring, sometimes you have to chew the meat and spit out the bones. I understand that. But also just understand, when you do get those good nuggets, to actually apply it, and don't allow yourself to say, well, maybe my situation will be a little bit different, and then you find yourself wasting years you could have basically avoided. And then the other thing that I think is very, very important is, don't idolize, humanize. Understand that mentors, we are still human beings too. And we may not have all the answers, or we may even make mistakes ourselves, but the goal is that I always tell my mentees, let me be the first to fall if there is going to be any falling. Right? Whether you have to climb on my back, walk on my back, or step on my back to get where you are, that is a part of me being your mentor, and that's what I'm here for. So use me as the example. My goal is that you shouldn't have to make the same mistakes. And so that's the part of that covering that you get in mentorship that I really, really love, right? And so the biggest thing is, those are the tips that I want to tell you. And again, mentorship is not always easy, but it's definitely necessary. And I believe it's one of the most powerful things and tools that you can use to get ahead a lot faster. So again, I hope that you cherish this program. I think it's an amazing program, and I wish that I had the opportunity to be in a program of this caliber when I was in you guys' seats. Again, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hi. I hate speaking, so this is going to be short. I'm JP Lucius. I'm the Associate AD for all the things and the SWA, which is Senior Woman Administrator. And so I'm very thankful to Vince and for Coach P to continue this initiative that came from previous administration, but I think it's very important for our young ladies, and we're excited to keep it going. But also thank you to Ashley for doing the mentorship portion of this. We can't do both. We can't do everything, so we have to split it up. I want to thank the staff of the arena also for working with us on this event. We had a different idea and then we kind of scaled it back, but they're always very grateful to have them in our corner. And I wanted to thank Skip and Cheryl Miller for helping us secure our speaker tonight. So our keynote speaker is Miss Valerie Grubb, and she's an internationally recognized keynote speaker for corporate leadership consultant and an executive coach who helps companies improve their bottom line by elevating their employees to strategic leaders. Her expertise is based on 20 plus years in senior leadership roles in companies such as Rolls-Royce Aircraft and NBC Universal, as well as helping to found the Oxygen Channel for Oprah Winfrey and Interactive Corp for Barry Diller, which is a parent company to Expedia and other companies, just to name a few. Another one being Ticketmaster, which we have here. She also has a book, The Clash of the Generations, and it helps leaders manage multiple generations in the office. So without further ado, here to give us our pep talk is Miss Valerie Grubb.
All right, hi everybody. All right, hopefully, let me know if I'm like blowing you out. I hear a lot of times I don't really exactly need a microphone. So I'm going to steal your line and say, JP, you did not tell me that I was going to be following Renata and Albion. So I'm a little bit bummed about that, but we'll see what we can come up with. So I thought what I would talk about tonight is the power of showing up when it's hard. And I know that there's been a lot of change and uncertainty, but tonight isn't really about what's lost. It's about what remains, what matters, and what's next, because that's what's important. And as you face what's next, I want to leave you with three powerful ideas to hold on to. The first is that resilience is a muscle. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's actually something you build. And you do that rep by rep, day by day, challenge by challenge. As all of you know, that's what training does, right? You all train every day, and it prepares you for those tough moments in the game. You don't become stronger by sitting on the sidelines. You become stronger getting knocked down and deciding to stand up anyway. And just like your body, your mind and your mindset gets stronger with training. And that's what resilience is. It's mental strength built over time by getting up one more time than you're knocked down, by showing up when life gets hard. Resilience is really learning how to keep going, even when it's hard. And I would actually say especially when it's hard. One of my favorite reminders of that comes, anybody know surfer Bethany Hamilton? Yeah. Bethany Hamilton, she lost her arm in a shark attack. And the interesting thing is she immediately got back up, as soon as she could, back up on that board. She said she didn't want pity. What she said is, I don't need easy, I just need possible. But that's resilience right there. And trust me, I've certainly built that muscle myself. So when COVID hit, as JP said, I'm a keynote speaker. I go in, I do corporate training on leadership. I do executive coaching, and I went from fully booked to fully blank after COVID hit. I went from flying first class to pacing in my kitchen in my underwear, wondering if Pop-Tarts really served as dinner. And in a single week, every speaking engagement I had for the quarter disappeared. And in a month, every job that I had was done for the year. My income was gone. My confidence was a tad bit wobbly. I tried a sourdough starter, tried to do the cooking. Let me just say that was like a tragic science experiment. I sat on the couch thinking, wow, this feels like a plot twist, and I'm sadly the main character who gets killed off. But here's what resilience looked like in that moment. Not having a plan, not knowing the answers, but I showed up anyway. And I didn't bounce back like some motivational poster. I flailed, I cried, I got angry. Then it was like, all right, now let's get down to business and let's figure this out. And I learned Zoom, I recorded videos, I said yes to opportunities that I would never have normally taken, including reaching out to my clients and saying, how can I help you figure out how to lead a newly remote workforce? And I did that at no cost, because it became a mission to help these clients who had been so in my corner, trying to help them figure out what's going on in this messy, ugly time of life. And little by little, I rebuilt what was lost, and I built it stronger. And that's what training for resilience is. It's not about waiting until things are perfect, but learning how to move forward, even in your pajamas with Pop-Tarts in your hand. Now, please understand that I would say that adversity is not the opposite of success. I would say that adversity is the path to it. As athletes, you train for those moments that are hard. You don't train for the schools that are easy. You train for those ones who are meeting you on the court or on the field, and who are ready and who are there to beat you. And that's who you train for. So do great leaders. So everything that you are learning and teaching, you're learning and you're preparing yourself to be not only a great leader on the field, but a great leader off the field, and in whatever you choose to do after you graduate or after you move on from UNO. Resilience doesn't come from things going right. It really comes from you refusing to quit when everything feels or goes wrong. That's what every one of you already has inside of you. You know that because you're an athlete, because you are here showing up every day. So my first thought is, please don't ever lose that. And just understand that resilience is a muscle, and just keep at it, and you can do that. The second thing I'd like to talk about is purpose over circumstance. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but life is not always going to go as planned. You will work hard, and sometimes you'll lose. You'll do everything right, and you will still be disappointed. And in those moments, you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have your whole life figured out. But you do need something to hold on to, a reason to keep showing up. That is your purpose. Perhaps it's a big career goal or a 5-year plan. Perhaps your purpose can be the love for your teammates. It can be the pride you feel when you give it everything you've got. It can be the simple decision to grow into the best version of yourself. You need that because when the world starts shaking, that purpose, the reason you keep going, is what holds you steady. Don't let your circumstances define you. Let your commitment to your purpose, to your why, define you. Gymnast Simone Biles shared her why when she said, I'd rather regret the risk that didn't work out than the chances I didn't take at all. It's really powerful there. And your purpose will ask you to take risks, to keep showing up, even when everything around you feels unstable. Whether you're fighting for a starting spot, applying to your dream job, or just trying to figure out who the heck you are outside of your sport. Remember this, that your circumstances might shake you, but they can't break you if you stay connected with your purpose, to what matters to you. And when life gets hard, I want you to remember this moment, not because of a speech or a quote, but because tonight you made a decision. You made a decision to live your life with purpose, to dig in when it gets hard, to show up for yourself no matter what. Budget cuts don't define you, headlines don't define you, your why defines you. I'll share a personal story to kind of help drive this home. So I'm 58, I've changed careers 3 times. In JP, in her introduction, I started out my undergrads in engineering. I worked in an engineering capacity for 11 years for Rolls-Royce aircraft. And I got bored, and I was like, man, oh man, this is not what I want. This is not the life I signed up for. And so I quit my job and moved out to California, knew no one, and said, I'm gonna switch and go into entertainment. I'm gonna make something really hard happen. And I went in and helped to found 2 companies. So I helped to found IAC, which we bought Ticketmaster, Home Shopping Network, Expedia, bought lots of companies. And now, so then I went from there and then also helped to found another company called the Oxygen Channel for Oprah Winfrey. And so I did that, entertainment, for 12 years. And then guess what? You know, my company, we sold Oxygen Media, went to work for NBC Universal, who was our acquiring company, and I thought, oh my God, this is gonna be the greatest job I've ever had. I was so excited to go in there. I was thinking, man, this is great. I'm gonna get back to California. My company moved me to New York, and I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna get into theme parks, which I was really obsessed with getting into. And I go in there, and a month in, I'm going across the GW Bridge, and I'm thinking, God, if my car goes into the river, do I have to go into the office? Because I am that miserable. I hate my boss. I loathe the air he breathed. And it was everything. I was like, where's the great job? Like, I was so shocked at what this was. Now, the great thing is it led me to then start my own company, which I've now been doing for 17 years. And so, you know, this adversity sometimes really leads to what that next opportunity is. And before my mom passed away, I shared with her that I was sort of currently mulling over career number 4. And she responded, she's like, when are you going to grow up and decide what you want to do with your life? And I said, man, I hope I never do that. And she said, you know, that's perfect. Don't ever grow up. And remember, if you don't like what you're doing, do something different. And she said, especially when you're done with it. And that really stuck with me. And because that's what purpose is. It's not locking into one path forever. It's about listening to that voice inside of you and honoring what matters to you. And being willing to change direction when something just no longer fits who you are. And that's okay. You're not going to get out of here. Understand that wherever you start is nowhere where you need to be in the next year, in the next 2 years, heck, in the next 6 months. So don't fret the small stuff, because again, you have got many, many opportunities ahead of you to change. And that's the opportunity that you want to take. Now that, by the way, you know, my mother's like, woo, go do it, go do what you want. You know, my dad had a heart attack when I quit engineering. I can tell you that conversation didn't go down that well, but here I am. So the third thing, so again, purpose over circumstance. You're not defined by your circumstance. Last is third, you rise together, which is a little bit about what Coach P talked about, and we heard from Renata, we heard from Alvion as well. I know we got women in here from every corner, right? We got basketball, we got volleyball, we got tennis, cross country, track and field. I think I hit everybody, right? Are we all still awake? Did I hit everybody? All right. All right. You know, I know you don't wear the same jersey. I know you don't run the same plays, but you are a team. Everybody in here. You're a team of women who show up, who grind, who sacrifice. And right now, you know what? Morale could be low, uncertainty certainly high. You're not just athletes, you are actually culture carriers, and you are leaders for the university. Real leadership shows up not just in the locker room after a win, but in the hallway when no one knows what's next. It's in how you support your teammates. It's in how you encourage other women athletes on campus, even if they don't play your sport. It's in how you support your coaches, your faculty. It's in how you carry yourself when the eyes aren't on you. Because let me tell you something powerful. You don't need a title to lead, you need intention. And trust me, I've had some fancy titles. None of them mattered as much as the friends who had my back when I tripped walking on stage. And yes, sadly that happened. Or the friends who were there for me in 2008 when I left that horrible boss at the time when the market had fallen. I quit a senior level position where I was seriously making some bank. But I worked for a guy who I absolutely hated, and that was not the thing. Remember, my financial advisor told me I was losing my mind and I needed to go back and beg for my job back. Now, my friends had my back, and I said that I needed to do what was right for me. 17 years later, I made the right call. Oh, and by the way, I told my financial advisor to F off and replaced him with someone in another company that was a way better fit for me and my personality of somebody who goes out and takes risks. I also love this quote from soccer great Abby Wambach. She said, you know, as you think about this idea of you rise together, I've never scored a goal in my life without getting a pass from someone else. This is your pass to each other, to speak up, to show up, to remind the people around you and yourself what's possible when you've got each other's backs. UNO may be facing hard times, but you are the heartbeat that keeps it going. I didn't always understand what it meant to be truly part of a team. When I moved into entertainment, the first company I worked for, this IAC, let's just say that the corporate culture was cutthroat. It was survival of the fittest. We joked that you really had to be able to eat your young to make it to the top, or to survive. And actually, it wasn't really a joke. I eventually left that role, as we said, and went to found the Oxygen Channel for Oprah. And for the first time in a long, long time, I was surrounded by women. Smart, passionate, driven women who actually wanted to lift each other up. It was 75% women, and the difference in energy was unbelievable. I had to relearn how to trust, because I had never had that before, working in all the male-driven companies. Not that I'm not male bashing, it's a completely different vibe when you're surrounded by women, in particular women who have your back. I had to learn how to trust, I had to learn how to collaborate, how to believe that having somebody's back didn't make you weak, it made you unstoppable. And I stayed there for 8 years until we sold it. Until, I'll tell you what, to this day, it's still been one of the best experiences of my life. Because for the first time, I didn't feel like I was climbing alone. I was rising together with people who believed in something bigger than their ego. And that's what all of you have here right now, on this campus, in this room. You don't rise alone, you rise together. So I'm going to leave you with a call to action. I'll say that you didn't come to UNO just to play a sport. You came to become something more. You came here to become a competitor, a teammate, a leader, and yes, in challenging times like this, a difference maker. No one asks to be forged in fire, and yet here all of you are. This moment, it's shaping you into the woman who knows how to rise and who knows how to lead, who knows how to believe, not just in the game, but in herself and the women on either side of you. You've learned that resilience, we've just talked about that resilience is a muscle. You've heard about purpose beats circumstance every time, and you've been reminded that you don't rise alone, you rise together. Whether you wear a volleyball jersey, lace up for cross country, take the court, or hit the beach, it doesn't matter. You are part of something bigger, a community, a sisterhood, a legacy of women who rise. Track and field athlete Allison Felix said, there are always things you can't control, but you can control how you respond. So don't wait for things to get easier. Show up anyway, rise anyway, lead anyway. Because the world doesn't need you to be perfect. It just needs you to be all in. And if you are, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that can stop you. Thank you very much again, JP, for bringing me. Thank you.
I know that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Vince Bernito, Athletic Director, if you don't know who I am. And I want to first thank our great speakers this evening for what... Ladies and gentlemen, that was a lot of knowledge and inspiration in just 30 minutes, I believe. College is the opportunity. You're here to play sports, right? One of the reasons you came here because you wanted to play your sport. But it's all about education, growing, and getting yourself ready for what your passion is, and have the tools you have to get where you need to be, right? And I'm glad you guys had the opportunity tonight to hear these wonderful women speak about life. And I want to thank Ashley for our mentorship program, and continue to grow that program that Tim and the department has started. We're so committed to EmpowHer that we continue to want to grow this program, grow our mentorship program. And the reality is you have mentors, particularly on a college campus, you have mentors around you all the time, whether it be your teachers, administrators around you, and even your classmates. So take advantage of the opportunities you have. Think tonight when you're getting ready to go to sleep. Think about a lot of the things that you heard today and what your path might be for you, because you have opportunity in front of you, and it's really up to you to lead your mind to what you want to be, because you can be whatever you set your mind to. Thank you so much, for everybody, for the program this evening. At this time, we're going to relax, have socialize. We'll go back to spotlights and get a little bit more to eat or drink, and mingle with each other and talk a little bit. And thank you all for coming, and thank you for being here tonight.